Welcome to the Red Pill Diaries, pajama edition. Um, I just wanted to talk about the riots in America. These are just engineered. Of course, the situation with what's his name, Floyd, was it? I can't remember his name. Anyway, the guy's been killed. Really bullshit situation. Very typical in America. Cops are just trigger happy. Most of them are assholes, just like any other country. But especially in America, I found that there was a bigger percentage of cop assholes. Probably New Zealand would be the worst actually. Uh, but yeah, I'd say at least 8 out of 10 cops in America are fucking assholes. They love throwing the weight around. They just they live for it for hand on the gun, all ready to go. You know. Uh, let's see. When I was living in America, I could just see something was going to boil over. The place is it's a cherry bomb waiting for the fuse to be lit, right? And the fuse is sitting next to a pyromaniac. The reason why this is all happening is not just because how people have been treated and people have been screwed over all around the world, but especially in America. Well, no, all around the world. I can't say especially there, can I? They've been doing it everywhere. The people who are screwing the people around the world tend to be from America, the corporations, the billionaires and stuff like that. But yeah, I could see this kind of primed, ready to go. I used to live in East Lansing and Detroit, and also in Denver, where they had riots as well, and also in Atlanta for the longest. That's where I lived for about 2.5, yeah, about 2.5 years, and my parents lived there for years. So yeah, I mean Atlanta was a prime. I mean I saw Atlanta when it used to be crap back in the 90s, and yeah, like a lot of trouble, and I could see it descending back there before I left. I thought this is just heading back to what it used to be. I think there's gonna be a lot of trouble spots in America. Um, yeah, most states have at least one shitty city. Things are just gonna get worse and worse. And as I said before, certain countries in the world, like England, for example, will fare worse because people are used to having so much because their countries stole so much more and misappropriated funds more than other countries, printed money, um, and got away with it. That the people became kind of spoiled. Not everyone, of course. There's some people who just don't care about, about having shit. But some people do care about having shit. And when you take that money away from them, take that earning power away from them, and they can't show off in a new car, whatever it is, they descend into a lower type of life form. And this is what's going to be happening in America soon. Well, it's already happening. It's already happening in England. So this catalyst around the world, this COVID-19 catalyst to basically sabotage the world economies, to exacerbate the wealth divide, as every single recession, depression, economic downturn of any type is always used to exacerbate the wealth divide by effectively making people poor so that you can steal what little capital they have. We all know how it happens with a house. If you own a home, let's take for example, all around the world, people were given mortgages very easily, very minimal background checks. They called them ninja loans in America. No income, no job, and I can't remember what the last part was. Yeah, but no income, no job loans basically. So there was just it's a high risk loan done on purpose because all they wanted to do was pump up the house market. You got to understand the equation from both sides when you pump up the house market, right? It's not just a case that the banks get to steal the house, right? Because the person inevitably can't pay. It's a case where the macro view of the whole thing is everyone has to pay more for houses, and who do they have to go to? The banks. So they have to pay money on that interest. Who's that money from? It's from the banks, right? So and then when everything goes wrong in all different levels, because you could be a rich person who could lose all their houses as well, because the dominoes fall in the wrong direction for you. You know what I mean? And one investment takes out another investment. Next thing you know, you've got nothing left because they've all fallen like a row of ducks, a row of dominoes. Sorry. So this is what you're seeing again right now, is just to bring us over the edge. Like coronavirus wasn't enough to actually keep Walmart open. This is a thing, right? Oh, get off the beaches, get out of the public parks and these wide open spaces where I mean, coronavirus can't attach to stuff anyway. Apparently, it's not stainless steel or plastic. All these bloody bullshit things they say. I don't know. I don't say the virus is bullshit. I'm just saying that these things they make you do to ridicule you, right? Everyone has to just like even right now, you've got to walk around with a mask. It's not really compulsory anymore. People are still doing it because they don't want to be shamed in public. It's amazing how they got into the psyche of people. But getting back to the point, the I've completely lost my place. No, I haven't. Yeah, I have. Fuck it. Damn, it's really late at night. I just saw this thing in Atlanta, so I had to talk about it. Right. So basically, the situation in Atlanta. Right. It's been architected on purpose because people profit from chaos. Right. The creatures who control this world profit from chaos. They 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 are ubiquitous. They're all over the world. It's the same club manipulating the world so that they effectively imagine this is not true, but imagine everything in the world belonged to mankind, right? Instead of mankind belonging to Earth, as it really is. What happens is the elite have bred human beings like cattle, other human beings, so they can get to the levels that would be previously. You know what I'm going to say? Another get to levels that were previously unheard of. Even with royalty, they could never have a $1 billion yacht, right? You're living in an age now, the first time ever, we're going to be having a trillionaire soon. So what we've effectively entered is a neo-feudal state. That basically means back in the days of feudalism, where you had the serfs, you had no middle class, and then you had the extremely wealthy, right? That's all you had. We're entering that time again. This has been used to destroy middle class. All these situations are because the middle class and working class had a little bit of capital. Poor people always had nothing, right? So it's expanding that poor class. So instead of being the 1% of wealthy before, you're now the 0.0000001% of wealthy, and that is the people who are the enlightened ones, the ones who are cherry picked, hand picked by the system to be in the club that George Carlin speaks about, used to speak about in his stand-up shows, right? So this neo-feudal state will be the end game I've spoke about in other videos, which they might be on the other channel on Cryptoversity and some old videos, is where they basically continue to unlock the wealth from the collective people by doing what? Well, by multiplying the people. Because if you have, let's say, a squirrel in your yard, and it's eating at your feeder, and you want to be able to take the food off the squirrels. Actually, it's not. Yeah, this is not. This is not. This is the shit analogy I'm coming up with right now. Basically, if you overpopulate any population, um, it's the biggest destruction that you can give to that population. This is if you look at the Darwin theories on the finches, for example, in Galapagos Islands, you'll see that not just the finches, but most species came to near extinction because they overpopulated. It's the same kind of theory. You implement chaos by overpopulation, it makes resource scarcity, and then you get to the stage where basically they all start cannibalizing each other, and that is how they're dealing with the human race right now. These creatures, which are also unfortunately share human DNA, but they're they're just repugnant creatures, right? And all for money, all for something they could have just printed anyway. The trick could have been pulled on us in a different way, and they could have still taken all the money without having to breed us, without having to rape children like they do, and without having to basically destroy the planet. So you'd have to draw the conclusion that these creatures, these elite creatures who feel the need to be billionaires and trillionaires, I'm not against capitalism, I'm not against being wealthy. There's something wrong with having $1 trillion as a single person. There's something wrong with having $1 billion as just a single person. It's wrong. There's nothing that you should be able to require in this world that needs that much money. Now, I'm not against having things like that, like these billion-dollar vessels. I'm just saying we're not there yet. When the human race is at a level where we're seeding the galaxy and our population doesn't matter, and resources are infinite, and we're not sitting there sharing a little planet, and things are you can create a robot army to build things for you. You can have 3D printing machines, all that sort of stuff. That are beyond what we can even think of right now. Yeah, fair enough. Give someone the ability to own something like a Starship Enterprise. Then, yeah, great. But we're not there right now. We're on a little island, sharing finite resources, and that includes the resources with which to live, oxygen and all sorts of stuff. And I don't want, please don't give me some fucking, you get this, a lot of red pill people out there, there's a lot of people who think they're woke red pill, who are not. If you really believe anything is existential, let's say, for example, flat earth theory, like I had one of these commenters, I've lifted it up so you can see it. If you believe that is definitely true, then you're a fucking moron, right? Because no one knows what's true. No one knows if we're living in a matrix or living in a, multiverse, whatever it is. None of us know. And you're an ignorant fucking moron. You actually show how stupid you are when you say, huh, the world's flat. Or even if you call out flat earthers as being idiots because you know the world's a globe, you're equally an idiot, right? Just want to cover that one. But yeah, these creatures are profiting from, well, you saw tonight in, it was I don't know if it was actually the one in Minnesota, but they were saying the bricks were lying there. They were left there on purpose. You've seen this many times, and I've pointed this out in the past about riots in London, for example. Like, why are these metal things here? Why is this? It's almost like they want a situation. It's almost what they want, and in America, definitely, they want any old excuse to pull their guns out. They want any old excuse to have chaos going on. So just imagine, right, in the grand scheme of things, in a city like New York, when you start to get, okay, just think about this for a second, getting back to the housing crisis. You imagine this sort of shit kicks off in New York, what's going to happen? People are going to start getting panicked and saying, I don't want my kids to be around this. I'm in the city, we're a city family, we live in Brooklyn or whatever, Lower East Side, whatever it is. You got to start moving out. And you move out, guess who doesn't give a shit? Guess who has enough money to buy a building that's being condemned, sit in it for 25 years, and then sell it again when there's another property boom? Not even 25 years, 10 years. They buy it for pennies on the dollar, keep it for a few years, have families living in there like as slumlords, and then when it gets totally run down, they still don't do it up. They just wait for the next property boom to come, for all these idiots to come in and start throwing their money into it. Right? Oh, I bought some shithole apartment. How much did it cost you? 780,000. Oh my God! Yeah, that's the price of houses at the moment. Same thing happens in London. I've seen in Glasgow years ago, because it doesn't matter what country you're from, even my country is fantastic as it is and good people as it is, it's filled with pieces of shit as well. It's like the Freemasons, stonemasons, whatever. They came from Scotland. They caused a lot of destruction in the world. So we all have a piece to contribute, whether you're from Nigeria or America or Scotland, whatever it is. That's why I don't go on about Americans as if they're an enemy, or Russians if they're an enemy, or Chinese, because they ain't. Because there's good people everywhere. They're just horrible pieces of shit from everywhere as well. And it just happens to be that a lot of them are from England, America, when it comes to the elite side of things. That's all. So what I was going to get to is saying about Scotland years ago. What they did is they basically ran down the city, so Glasgow became just well, Scotland got ran down by itself, but far less so than it got run down by England, creating economic despair. But once it did get run down, what they do is they put a situation where they'll purposely make the place worse. They won't invest in it. They won't put any money into it. If you think about it, the amount of people that's in a city should justify if public money is getting spent, taxes are getting spent in it, because it's a lot closer together. So it's a lot cheaper to do things when it's all closer together, right? Rather than putting in infrastructure that spreads over a lot of area. What did they do? The same thing they did in a little town in near Newcastle in Australia, actually. They moved everyone into a satellite city, basically these new housing, they call them housing schemes in Scotland, housing development in Australia, and they a satellite city, sorry, in Australia they call it, I think. They put people into these new developments. They'll put shops and all that sort of stuff, knowing that they're like prefab, cheaply made, and they move in all the scum. As soon as the scum starts spray painting the fucking walls, then the upper echelon of that society who moved out of the cities sold their hovel in the city and got given as payment for this shithole that they sold some prefab piece of crap. Within 5 years it looks like absolute shit, and a few years later, and by the way, this will happen to the Gold Coast in Australia too, mark my words. I always say when I lived there, these sky rises will become ghettos in the sky in the future. I said the same about Dubai. It will happen, right? And it might even be this depression that makes it happen. I hope I haven't been blocking the microphone. Anyway, oh god, that would suck. I have to record this all again. But basically, what ends up happening is they end up living in these condemned zones. The shops shut down. What happens? You're miles outside of town with no shops around you. You're living in an economic dead zone. And meanwhile, the place that you sold is now in a gentrified area. The fuckers still don't do it up. They wait for someone to come in and pay the money. They gentrify it. They make it all look good. So again, the people are being ripped off. It's like, oh, I want to get in the property ladder. Yeah, I'm in a professional job. I'm getting good money now. Yeah, me and my missus might get a place in the middle of Glasgow or middle of Sydney. Whatever places were swapped, these fuckers always profit from it because they've got multi-generational money. They can sit on shit for you. They don't have to make a profit tomorrow. They can buy something when a stock is coming all the way down and just sit there and wait for years like a Warren Buffett character, waiting for it to rebound again from manipulations of taxpayers' money used to fund stock buybacks, that kind of behavior, right? It's all related. It's all chaos architecture. And what you're seeing is one of the many forms of this chaos engineering that goes on, right? Now it's spread to Atlanta. Why? It's separate states. It's different cops. It's a total. I mean, you got a different state government. Now, of course, the black people are just protesting it, and it's some white folks. It could be Antifa. It could be some paid just shills. I mean, put it this way: enough people are out of work. You could pay. You could pay anyone, but I mean, the thing is, let me think. Yeah, it'd probably make more sense. Let me think. If it was people who were paid, they'd be from all colours. The fact that it's all white, yeah, it most likely is Antifa then. They just want to cause some shit. I mean, a lot of those Antifa guys look like squirmy, weaselly pieces of shit anyway. Just, trying to self-righteous fucking headfuck guys. I like aspects of their thinking, which is they don't like the system and are completely against the system and they want to fuck shit up. I just don't like, I hate vandalism. I hate just willful destruction of shit. There's some people that just like to ruin things. They see something nice and they just want to spoil it. Whether there's good times or bad times, Anyway, that's what I think might be going on here. Of course, I wasn't so sure on the perpetrators, but yeah, it does make sense. It would be Antifa. Look at the shit they were doing last time, a couple of years back. So yeah, the equivalent of that would be I don't know if you know this, but more white people get killed by cops in America than black people. But of course, there's more white people, so that makes more sense, doesn't it? But white people aren't protesting. Is it laziness, apathy? I don't know what's going on. No solidarity for their fellow man. I'm not sure. But if they did protest, Would BLM start throwing, would start saying, yeah, yeah, we're with you, and the protest with you, but then start breaking into shops and rioting and stuff, you know? Because that would be the inverse world situation. Anyway, just wanted to point this out. America is probably going to decide to descend more into chaos as time goes on, but it won't be the only place. It will be all over the world, unfortunately. And as I said in the video on the other channel, a Red Pill Diary video on my old channel, basically, you're best to, I mean, you're in the country that you're in. If you can move to a different country, move to a country where people have been poor before and could go there again and wouldn't change them. In Britain and America, it will change those countries. They're so spoiled. They're so used to having what they want, or they haven't seen true struggle. They think they have, but they haven't. That's right. I've got a couple of brothers in Bulgaria. They live there. You know, those people know have seen struggle more recently. If you haven't seen struggle for 50 years in your country, probably not the best place to live. But who knows? But if you do live in those countries, move into the countryside and try. If you are still educating yourself, it's going to be pretty fucking difficult at the moment. Let's say you're educating yourself remotely. Try get into a profession that you can do remotely. I have advocated for this for years. Either do something, and by the way, when I say remotely, I don't just mean working for the man remotely. I mean in a remote area. Because, for example, you can do stuff that's not computerized, but work remotely. If you, like, I went to a guy's place this morning to get up some timber. He's got a sawmill in his house. You know, it's home. We live in a farming community. See, there's remote jobs you can do that don't mean finger ninja, you know, sitting on a bloody computer all day like I do. Like, I can't stand computers. Aquaponics company, whatever it might be, or some installing solar installations, whatever it might be. Find something that you can do, that you can work for yourself and not have to live in the city and be in the rat race with every other sucker, right? Cities are not natural, not a good place to be. But if you can't escape the city, and hopefully you're not so unfortunate you haven't even got a balcony, but start growing even something in the, you get the grow boxes. Start growing some food. It's amazing how little food you can live on, right? You got to think back to Second World War and stuff. People weren't having like 3 square meals a day with meat and 3 veg. You can live on very little. Think about those pilot. People say, you gotta have this vegetable and five different veggies a day. Well, how about the people who survived on that mountaintop years ago when the plane crashed, eating the buttocks cheeks of the people who died? The human body can cope with quite a lot. So just having a little bit of food. Example, things like lentils. Fill up a few things of clean water. You get those big bottles of 10-liter bottles. Have provisions on standby so you can basically lock yourself in if you need to, if shit gets really bad. Because it's not the fact that you need to lock yourself away forever. You just need to lock yourself away long enough so that all the crazy people kill each other, and then you can come out and show your head. Right, what's going on here? And you'll get by if you have dried pasta, a few things growing in your windowsill to take the other vitamins that you can't get from dried food very well because they get destroyed. And that's what I'd advise really. And if you're have weapons, regardless of what country you're from. There's a guy, I think it's Jürgen something. He's a German guy, and he's always laughing like, ha ha ha! Today I'm creating this this crossbow which fires circular saw blades. You know what I mean? And just make something like that. They can't stop you protecting yourself. They can't stop you having a weapon that protects yourself in your house. You know what I mean? Because when I think about what it could get like, I have visions of Charles Bronson, the old 80s movie Death Wish. That is what the world's going to get like again, because we've got way more population than when they had the crack epidemic in Los Angeles all those years ago, and also before Giuliani came in and cleaned up New York. We've got lots more people now. We've got much higher rates of delinquency, even, I'd say, also. And also, there's a yearn. Like I said before, people have been spoiled, so people are so used to having stuff. Even people who are quite lower class in some countries are used to having their new Reeboks and this and that. You know, I got one friend in Atlanta. He must have had about 60 pairs of Air Jordans that are worth like $200 plus, and it's like, where? He's in jail, by the way. Just dumbass. I never listened to any advice. So he'll slap it into you. Um, you know, I'm not taking River in it. He stole my Glock. It really pissed me off. I was a good friend to him. Anyway, 45. Yeah. So that's my point, really. Yeah, be able to look after yourself, weather the storm. Shit's gonna get real all around the world. Yeah. If you can't solve, if I've said a few things here and you want to solve your life by doing one of those things, like moving remotely, but you can't do it, just take baby steps, whatever it is. Another thing is, try to collaborate with other people. Because, okay, here's one thing. I know a lot of people who have lost their houses, and they're people who, this really sucks, I've given advice to in the past and say, look, why don't you rent that one room out? Or I can't live with other people. You know, you're talking to someone who's about to lose their fucking house and they can't live with other people. And I shit you not, I've had these conversations with people and they've lost their fucking homes. Not willing to rent out a fucking room in their home or 2 rooms. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd probably rent out the whole fucking house and live in the garage if it meant I'd keep my house, you know what I mean? And not lose it. But some people they're just wired differently. Like, I know some people who struggle and it's like they can't just like live in a small bed set like I've done when I've been poor sometimes in my life. No, they have to live in a house. Yeah, I've got to get this. I'm gonna get rental and sign a lease. They take everything so seriously and wonder why they always struggle. They won't take it. They won't make a short-term sacrifice to have something more permanent, and that is how you can set yourself apart from the average person if you've got, I don't know, the temerity to do that. I'm going to leave it there. This is all set up. This is all rigged. Yeah, there's going to be protests. You're going to get riots. You're going to find new reasons for basically dissent and subversion. Subversion's a good thing, just not in the way that the system wants it to happen. All right? Yes, it's the system, but they're bringing down the system, Craig. Oh. They want any reason to be able to buy more shit with your money. All right? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Bye.